Hey everybody, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. It's that a lot of bodybuilders, people who consider themselves bodybuilders, and mainly competitors, I'm talking about here too, specifically, they're confused and think that they're power lifters. Now let me explain something first off. A lot of people that go to gyms, and I'm talking about men for the most part, they want to be big and strong, and they kind of put equal value on both, and that's fine. You can have any goals you want. God love you. Do what makes you happy. And it makes sense for a lot of guys because unless you have awesome genetics, you're never going to be the biggest guy with the best physique, and you're never going to be the strongest guy in the world. I mean, the people that are elite at physique competition, the people who are elite in powerlifting, strength sports, they're a special breed. They're born that way. And, training, drugs, all these things do have tremendous impacts also, but the genetics have to be there to start with. So it does make sense for most people. If they want to pursue both, that's fine. They want to have a big bench press and they want to say they can squat X amount and this and that, and they want to look good. But the people who are focusing on one or the other and trying to be their best at it, they don't worry about the other component. In other words, world-class powerlifters are purely trained to be the best power lifter in the world, the strongest man in the world at their the bench, the squat, the deadlift. They don't care about their bicep peak. They don't care about their lat drop and their quad sweep and this and that. Their physique, really, for the most part, they could care less. And most bodybuilders should have the attitude that their physique is all that counts. It doesn't matter what they bench press or squatted, because they're up on stage being judged by the way that their bodies look. They're not being judged by how much they can lift. Then you could say, well, you need to lift heavy weights to get big. Yeah, to a point you do. To a point. Now, the man who I think is sort of responsible for the confusion for the most part is someone I have the utmost respect for, 8-time Mr. Olympia Ronnie Coleman. Anytime you bring up or try to argue that bodybuilders don't need to lift world-class powerlifter type weights, people say, well, Ronnie Coleman bench, he could deadlift 800 pounds. He squat 800 pounds. Ronnie Coleman. Okay. Do you know where Ronnie Coleman is right now? Ronnie Coleman just had his 5th spinal surgery. Last year, he had both hips replaced. This last surgery was so severe, they had to dig out 4 screws that were already in his spine, replaced them with 6 larger screws, and put 2 cages around his vertebrae to hold everything together. He just got out of one hospital that he was in for a week. He went into a rehab hospital where he's going to be for at least 2 weeks. He's going to be getting out just in time to make it to the Arnold Classic to get inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. He's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. So, Ronnie's paying a huge price for the weights he lifted. And for Ronnie, it's worth it because Ronnie's a legend. Ronnie's an icon. For most of you guys out there who are destroying your joints, maxing out on these lifts, using way too much weight because, you think that's the way to be a great bodybuilder, you're probably going to end up jacked up, but you're not going to be a legend. You're not going to have everything to show for it like Ronnie. You're just going to have injuries and pain. Pain. I hate to be so negative, but I'm 46 and I've got a lot of aches and pains already. I can imagine with some of these guys. So what I see a lot is on IG and Facebook, I see guys who are competitive bodybuilders, maxing out, doing 1 rep with squats, all wrapped up. Same thing for the bench press, the deadlift. That's great. If that's what it takes for them to keep their training interesting, that they have to max out all the time. But I don't think bodybuilders should max out. Most top-level bodybuilders I've ever spoken to, they don't know what they can bench, squat, or deadlift for 1 rep. And they would never try to find out because it's too dangerous. Those kind of loads, especially over time, on your joints, on your discs, they're deadly. Over years, you're either going to have a catastrophic injury or you're going to end up with lifetime pain, arthritis, stiffness, soreness. And for what? Why? There was no reason. It didn't get you closer to your goal of having the best physique and being the best bodybuilder. It didn't. People like to talk crap about Phil Heath. Phil Heath trains like a pussy. Phil Heath's not that strong. Wow. Phil Heath doesn't do barbell bench presses. He doesn't do enough barbell squats. He doesn't deadlift at all. Whoa, what a wuss. Okay, he's a 5-time Mr. Olympia. He's probably going to win a few more times, probably, unless somebody stops him before then. In the meantime, he hasn't had any horrible injuries. He doesn't appear to be in any kind of pain. He uses heavy enough weights to achieve the effect to make himself grow to get to the physique that he needs to be the best bodybuilder in the world. Yet, he's not racked with pain. He's not tearing muscles. He's not herniating discs. I think he's freaking smart for training this way. And I think a lot of you amateur guys out there who are needlessly maxing out all the time and putting so much stress and trauma on your joints, your connective tissues, I think you're being dumb. I don't think it's helping you. You're not causing muscle growth with 1 rep. And I really don't subscribe to that belief that becoming stronger in 1 rep is going to apply to everything else. And even if it did, how strong do you really need to be to get up on stage and flex your muscles? You don't. There are other ways, higher reps, squeezing, slowing the reps down, supersets. Getting strong is pretty important in your first few years of training. But there comes a point where it doesn't even make sense to try to use heavy weights. You're as strong as you're going to get. You might get a little bit stronger here and there, but you're not going to get much stronger. And trying to force the issue and use crazy heavy weights all the time and train like a powerlifter when you think you're a bodybuilder or you profess to be a bodybuilder just doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know if any of you guys who are doing that are going to listen to me or if you're going to just call me a hater or whatever. It's up to you. Just think about it. Think about what you're doing to your body, what you're trying to achieve with your body. And if you consider yourself a bodybuilder and all that really matters is your physique and the development of your physique, ask yourself if what you're doing in the gym every day is contributing to that, or if you're potentially setting yourself up for injuries, or at the very least, a lot of pain when you're older. Think about it. Bye-bye.